Hallo julle en welkom by nog 'n uitgawe van Brandt Punt. Nou ja, as usual, we've got a jam-packed video today with quite a few questions that I'd like to get into, and I will again, as previously, answer the questions in the language that it was posted. Karel van der Merwe, ek wil graag opvolg op jou vorige vraag. Jy het 'n stelling gemaak wat sê kyk wat ander organisasies wat selfbestuur bo regeringsbestuur bevorder, byvoorbeeld Afriforum en Solidariteit regkry. Want in ruil vir hulle ledegeld en hul getalle beding hul goedkoper assuransie en ander produkte vir hulle lede. Nou Karel, dis 'n baie goeie punt. Ek wil graag net vir jou twee goedjies sê hieroor. Die eerste is ons het reeds besluit om nie ledegeld te vra nie. Ons verkies dat mense vrywilliglik bydraes lewer. So die ledegeld kwessie is afgehandel. Die tweede wat ek graag hiermee wil saam sê, en dalk maak dit nie lekker sin nie, maar ek gaan my bes doen. Onthou dat CapeXit, nie winsgewende organisasie, het relatief 'n kort leeftyd. Ons hoofdoel is om by 'n referendum uit te kom en natuurlik om toe te sien dat alle beleidsdokumente en beleid oorgedra word na die nuwe regering. Eers deur die tussentydse regering en dan die nuwe verkiesde regering wat uit die mense van die Weskaap gekies sal word. So ons het nie 'n vreeslike lang leeftyd in vergelyking met van die ander organisasies nie. Dit wil sê ons kan nie vir ons lede langtermyn voordele aanbied terwyl CapeXit sal ontbind die oomblik wanneer ons by 'n referendum uitkom en ons doel, ons funksie, die funksie van CapeXit eintlik verstryk het nie. So, dis 'n baie goeie voorstel en ek het absoluut begrip vir wat jy vra. Vir CapeXit spesifiek is dit nie prakties nie. Dankie Karel, ek hoop dat antwoord jou vraag. Our next contributor was Alma Tolic. Alma, please forgive me if I mispronounced your surname. It is rather unusual. Alma made a statement saying, what percentage of farmers in Zim are at least somewhat successful or deliver close to the upbringing of the farms previously managed by whites? Now, this is a very difficult question to answer or a statement to comment to, purely because the Zim story is known to everybody. Without going into too much comparisons with what is happening in South Africa, we all know Zim is not a success story. Now, just to comment further, I must tell you that the farmers in Zim were not all whites. There were very successful farmers from every walk of life, from every racial orientation, and the same in South Africa. There are quite a number of farmers that do exceptionally well, even though they are not from the traditional white farming community. So we all know what happened in Zim. It is most certainly not something we would want to repeat in South Africa, although the writing is on the wall. Hence our critically important movement to secede from South Africa and take our community, the Western Cape, onto the next level. Thanks for your contribution, Alma. Okay, our next contributor was Jonathan Manuel. Jonathan, thank you for your questions. You asked 3 questions. I would like to deal with them individually because they are substantially important. There's a lot of misconception about this, and I would like to put the facts straight because from CapeXit's point of view and from CapeXit's modus operandi, it's important that you understand where we stand and how we deal with these things. So your first question is, how far is CapeXit now in the process with regards to international law in relation to obtaining independence? Now, Jonathan, CapeXit fully recognizes international law. About that, there is no doubt. But then you must remember the process for each and every country that wants to secede is different. There is no cut and dried recipe which you can use and say, this is the process I'm going to follow, and this is the route I'm going to take, because that is the only way we can get it. That is absolutely not a fact. Then secondly, to this response, Be aware that the legal process rests solely and only on the will of the people. Now, if you have this much documentation, if you have your legal process this far, and it took you 5 years, 10 years, 12 years to compile all of this documentation, and as an example, this is the will of the people, this will mean nothing. This will mean nothing until this one, the will of the people, is higher than this. I'd like to illustrate. If you have the will of the people, and this is the will of the people, that means you have the majority of people in any country saying, yes, we subscribe, we want, we signed for, we gave a mandate for, a proven mandate to secede. We want independence. This legal process will follow this, the will of the people. So that means if you do this and then you start gathering support for your cause, this paperwork, the legal paperwork, the legal documentation is very likely to become outdated and irrelevant. So what CapeXit does, the process that we follow, is to get the most important and the most critical part of secession in place, and that is the will of the people. So CapeXit is here. Once we have this and we can prove it, we will start and continue along the way with what needs to be done with the international community. So, and then you can understand that if you have this, if you have the will of the people, proven will of the people, then this process will take a lot less time because of the urgency of the pressure of this. I think that's clear. Remember also, Jonathan, that you can say you have X, you can say you have Y, without proof, without physical, tangible proof, you have nothing. You can say, I have the will of the people, but I need to do this. You must prove that you have the will of the people. So everything, every single thing must be proven. I think that is clear as far as your first question is concerned. Jonathan, then your second question, I'm going to continue reading your question, and also where was there any contact made with the ANC government notifying them of your intended pending actions? So to answer that question is, it is not the place nor any way our job, if I can put it like that. It is not our place to notify the South African government. That is the prerogative of the Premier of the day. So going past the Premier will serve you no purpose. Then the Premier is the one that should be notified and the referendum claimed, because the Premier of the Western Cape is the only person that can call a referendum in the Western Cape. The South African government can't. The South African government can call a national referendum, but they don't have the power to call a referendum in the Western Cape. So what would be the purpose? What would be the purpose of notifying the South African government? I can tell you in no uncertain terms that the South African government is fully aware of the drive towards independence. They are fully aware of it. But to notify them, even if you did, let's say you did notify them, what proof have you got that they have taken note of your notification? So you can deliver a writing to the government. If you don't have proof, physical, tangible, visible proof that it was received by, for example, the state president, you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing. So it is not a sensible idea to deliver a letter to the state president, don't get any response, and say that you have notified the SA government. So I don't understand the purpose of delivering any notification to the SA government, because we need to get the notification to the Premier of the Western Cape. He can, on his turn, notify, which is a mere formality, notify the South African government of our intentions to secede. Okay, Jonathan, I would like to answer your third question. What are the differences between CapeXit and UCL, if any? And wouldn't it be feasible to work together to get it done? Now, I presume that UCL might be ULA. There are minor differences, but let me give you a rundown. CapeXit would be willing to talk to any organization, and as a matter of fact, we do. Speak with any organization that has autonomous independence. That means not negotiable, independence as highest priority, and follow the due processes, which I've outlined a little bit earlier. So CapeXit is not trying to do anything alone. You might have heard of the Cape Independence Forum, which is a forum where all the leaders, the recognized leaders of organizations, get together and discuss the processes ahead. So CapeXit is part of the Cape Independence Forum, and all legitimate organizations with proven legitimacy would be able to talk. And we, as a matter of fact, we do. So everybody works together for independence. Thanks for your contribution, Jonathan. Then we move to YouTube, and one of our regulars is Southfella, a pseudonym. Southfella wants to know, will the new country use ranked choice voting, or RCV? Let me quickly explain what ranked choice voting is. Ranked choice voting is where there are numerous candidates on a ballot paper, and you can vote for many of them. You can vote for 2, 3, 4, or 5 of them, and then you place them in the order of your preference. That means the one that you have the highest priority for, you'll place on top, or number as 1, and so forth to number 5. So that is what ranked choice voting is. Now, coming back to what will happen in the new independent Western Cape, that is the beauty of bottom-up democracy, direct democracy. So it's not something that we can predict at the moment. That is something that the Portfolio Committee on Elections will handle in due course, and be written into the policies of the new government after the interim government has given over to the newly elected government. So it's not something we can predict at the moment. It is something that the people with the knowledge will be able to determine later. Thanks again for your contributions, and keep them coming. Okay, let's move right along. Our next comment question was from GV again. Thank you, GV. How will unions be dealt with? For example, taxi unions, which is a law onto their own, referring to licensing, roadworthy, and general intimidation. Now, GV, the laws surrounding taxis and all the rest of it, again, will be in the hands of the next government, starting on municipal level. As far as unions are concerned, we don't anticipate there being any unions in the new Western Cape. I think that is as short and sweet as I can give it. For the rest, we'll leave it up to the newly elected municipal governments and regional governments and national government. GV, your second question, no, I beg your pardon, statement. CapeXit need to get Athol Williams on board if he is not yet on any of the advisory boards. Now, that's an open invitation. If Mr. Williams is listening or is in contact with any of you, he's more than welcome to contact us. That would be really appreciated. Thanks, GV. Ons volgende bydrae kom van YouTube, Zekari Titus. Zekari, ek is nie seker hoe om jou naam of jou van uit te spreek nie, maar ek dink jy weet, ek gesels met jou. Baie dankie vir jou vraag. Wat gaan die rol van Afrikaans speel in die nuwe land? Nou, soos ons weet, is daar 'n geweldige hoeveelheid. Ek glo meer as 50% van die huidige Weskaap bevolking wat Afrikaans as huistaal geniet. Daarom is die rol van Afrikaans en die posisie van Afrikaans in die nuwe voorgestelde Weskaap, onafhanklike Weskaap, absoluut verseker. Afrikaans ondergaan op hierdie stadium oor die groter Suid-Afrika 'n geweldige aanslag. En dit is hartseer om te sien, aangesien Afrikaans net so erkende landstaal is soos enige ander, maar die aanslag op Afrikaans is tans eintlik onaanvaarbaar. So om Afrikaans te beskerm in die onafhanklike Weskaap is 'n uitgemaakte saak. Dinge soos byvoorbeeld die Taalmonument sal 'n geweldige toeriste aantreklikheid wees. En Afrikaans is uniek. Afrikaans is hier gebore en ek haat dit om te sê, maar Afrikaans sal hier doodgaan. Afrikaans is veilig in die nuwe Weskaap. Baie dankie vir jou vraag. Goed, ons laaste vraag vir hierdie uitgawe van Brandt Punt is gevra deur Johan Nel en Johan wil graag weet, is die huidige registrasienommers almal geregistreerde kiesers van die Weskaap? Nou Johan, die kort antwoord is nee, dit is nie. Die huidige geregistreerde syfers wat jy sien op CapeXit se webbladsy en wat op Facebook publiseer word, sluit alle steun in, aangesien die wil van die mense, soos wat ek net nou verduidelik het, die wil van die mense die hoogste prioriteit het, maar onthou nou dat die wil van die mense staan op twee bene. Daar is die wil van die kiesers, dit wil sê die geregistreerde kiesers op die onafhanklike verkiesingskommissie se kiesersrol vir die Weskaap, dis die een been, en die ander been is internasionale steun. Dit wil sê mense wat nie binne die Weskaap geregistreer is as kiesers nie, maar wat buite die Weskaap woonagtig is, en buite die Weskaap kan beteken in Gauteng, of in Mpumalanga, of in Duitsland, of in Engeland, of in Kanada. So internasionale steun is net so belangrik, omdat jy moet kan bewys dat die mense in ander lande en ander lande self, die regerings van ander lande, ten minste een regering dit skriftelik steun. So die huidige registrasie syfers van CapeXit bestaan uit samevatting van beide. Baie dankie Johan. Dit sluit hierdie episode van Brandt Punt af. Please remember to type your questions in the comments section below this video on YouTube and on Facebook. I will deal with those next week. There's just one short request. If you know the answer to any of the questions that are posted on Facebook or on YouTube, please don't respond on Facebook or on YouTube. Even if you do know the answer, please refrain from commenting your response. The answers that I give on Brandt Punt are verified information. All the directors of CapeXit verify and release the information that I give. So let us rather stick. It will defeat the object of this series if you comment with a reply or a response to any of the questions. Baie dankie dat julle gekyk het. Ons sien uit na volgende week. Laat die vrae inrol. Onthou tog om die vriende en familie te vra om te registreer en waar dit moontlik is, maak 'n bydrae aan die CapeXit se bankrekening, sal altyd waardeer word. Ons moet hierdie werk gedoen kry. Dankie julle, sien julle volgende week.